What is up, guys? This is the Spoon Dude back with another custom action figure showcase. This time I am showing off my custom Marvel Legends Spider-Man based on the artwork of Todd McFarlane. This figure uses the Hasbro Hobgoblin Build-A-Figure Wave Spider-Man figure as the base of it, and I basically just sanded the whole figure down and repainted it that it would look more like the Spider-Man of McFarlane, who was the Spider-Man artist, I believe in the 90s, early 90s, might have been late 80s. And I really liked his artwork a lot. I wasn't around then, but looking at it now, it's very dynamic and looks great. And I really wanted to see if I could translate it into an action figure form. Before we get into all that, here it is compared to my other custom Spider-Man. I made a video on him before. I'll put the card on him or whatever. With this figure, I wanted it to be kind of a more generic Spider-Man that could work for whichever era of the character's history. So I gave him the classic eyes and then alternate head to fit whichever style. But for this one, I kind of went the opposite direction, and I actually made this one first. But I went the opposite direction and really made it artist specific. If you a collector of Marvel Legends, you might have heard the name McFarlane or a label they put on pretty much any Spider-Man figure with big eyes, as that's what the artist was known for or is known for. But for mine, I wanted to do more than just give him the big eyes, so I really looked closely at the artwork, and when painting this, really tried to capture all of that. So with the head, what I did was sand down the eyes pretty much entirely, the original eyes, and then just painted the McFarlane eyes. You can see the white's a little shoddy, but you can't really tell when it's on the shelf. And I'm pretty happy with how the eyes came out. I think they're fairly comic accurate. It's not perfect. You can see it's not the cleanest there, but I'm okay with it. With the lines, if you look at McFarlane's artwork, it's he has thin lines and there's a lot of them. It's not like this Spider-Man where it's really wide in between each line. His are very tightly woven. So I tried to do that here. I used a pen, like a marker pen thing for the lines. I mentioned it for the video here, and I did it here. When I first did the lines with it, it ended up being too stark or being too bold, so I went back in with both a black wash and then a red wash to lighten the lines, and I'm pretty happy how that came out in the head there. And then I did the webs on the body. Some has rubbed off from posing, but I can always draw it back on. For this one, I just did the web lines all painted instead of sculpted like this one, since I'm going for a different look. And then the spider logo, really tried to make this look like McFarlane's Spider-Man logo. So I'll see if I can put a comparison, but I think I did pretty decently. It's hard to tell, the lighting really ruins that, but yeah. And for the red, it's just the basic red, some black washes kind of put throughout to darken it and give it more depth. There's a spider on the back. He still has the peg hole. For the blue parts, the way most of the illustrations are colored are they're not straight up blue. They're pretty much black with blue highlights as he was drawn originally, and I wanted to do that here again. The way I approached it was I painted the blue first and then dry brushed all the black so that the blue stayed in all the creases and then the black was on the higher surfaces, and then went back in with a paint wash of blue so that you could really see it. And it's a little bit harder to tell on video, but those blue highlights are there, and I think they came out pretty decent. And for the hands, they're all the same. I just gave them a black wash so they could fit better. To make this figure, I had to really sand it down so that the articulation could work without too much rub, but there's still some paint rub there. but it's overall pretty good, I think. Oh, and you can see the hips are really gappy, maybe more so than they should be, but that's because I modified them to have more articulation going outward. I'll try to link to the video where you can learn how to do that if you don't know already. I don't want to drag this video too long. Because I already posted about this figure on my Figure Realm, and I'll just link that in the description below if you really want to know more. There's my McFarlane Spider-Man, once again here with my other Spider-Man, and then, because you saw him earlier, let's throw in the Hasbro Homecoming Spider-Man. I'm pretty happy with this figure. He is on my main comic display shelf with all my Marvel characters and other custom figures. You might be able to spot him in my collection video, again, in the card. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll try to post some pictures at the end of the video so you can see him in more poses. And yeah, have a good day.